An archaeological dig on Louisville's oldest working farm is uncovering a Kentucky past you won't find in the history books. Sitting 8 miles right outside of downtown Louisville is Oxmoor Farm. It was home to 5 generations of the Bullitt family dating back to the Revolutionary War. But it was also home to more than 100 enslaved people. Brooke Cash shares the stories being unearthed today.
Tucked behind Oxmoor Mall and Topgolf in St. Matthews is a Louisville landmark.
This house is like walking through 3 centuries of American history. We start with the colonial period, move through the antebellum years, and finally into the 20th century, and it's all under one roof.
A Virginian named Alexander Bullitt purchased this land in 1787 and built what became the family's home for generations. Today, you can tour the property and the many outbuildings that predate the Civil War.
From a spring house, an ice house, a hemp barn, 2 outdoor kitchens, a smokehouse, and then 4 former slave dwellings.
These one-room slave cabins, first built of wood and then brick and stone, hold the remaining pieces of a past you haven't heard.
Earth builds up over time, and it got that layer got buried, but we found it.
Lori Stahlgren is an archaeologist who spent the last year and a half inside these dwellings.
So we just dig, we just scrape, and artifacts might come up.
Uncovering a better picture of what life was like on the farm. Her team got involved when Oxmoor Farm decided to convert these slave dwellings into a museum space. They had no clue what they'd find.
We kind of hit the jackpot.
In the center of this home, a pit cellar, the 1800s version of a mini fridge.
You would have stored root vegetables and eggs and butter and squash, all kinds of food in there. Probably not meat, but you would have stored it to use on a daily basis.
Today, they've uncovered a collection of nails, bones from food remains, and coins.
We find garbage.
But still fascinating to you.
You would not believe how much your garbage can tell about you. And we have had descendants come out and help with the excavation and be really touched.
Felicia Jameson's used to digging in the archives, not the dirt.
When you walk over to the former slave dwellings, it's kind of like a humbling experience.
She's turned this project into a history lesson for her comparative humanities class at U of L, giving students a hands-on experience.
My favorite thing was part of a pot, and when I found it, I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't know what to do with it, so I called Lori over and I said, I found a thing, I think. I don't know what to do, but I found a thing. And then she took over from there.
Possibly one of the most interesting pieces discovered.
Yeah, this is the machete.
Found laying against the wall of a slave's home.
They may have used it to chop vegetables, but they also may have used it to feel safe. And maybe they would have never ever used that because the potential repercussions could have been horrible. But just having it may have been empowering, reclaiming some of the humanity that enslavement stole.
On the grounds of Oxmoor Farm, Brooke Cash, WHAS 11 on your side.
Well, Farmington at Bardstown Road and the Waterston Expressway, where a young Abraham Lincoln stayed with the Speed family, had 70 enslaved people. And more recently, Locust Grove near the Ohio River has been presenting the facts it's been learning about the 40 enslaved people who live there. Well, the digging at Oxmoor continues, but this Wednesday, U of L students are giving a presentation to the community about their findings at the Oxmoor farm. Anybody can show up. It's from 4:30 to 6 inside the mansion, the Holmes Library, and it is free for you to attend.